Welcome back, Colts fans. As we reach the quarter mark of the 2024 NFL season, the Indianapolis Colts sit at 2-2, second in the AFC South. And while there has been plenty of inconsistency, there is also plenty to unpack on both the offense and the defense. I'm Blaiden Kirk. Let's hop in. I want to start with the offense, particularly with Anthony Richardson. The second-year quarterback has shown signs of brilliance, signs of greatness, particularly with his incredible pocket presence. He rarely takes bad sacks and is generally incredibly tough to bring down. When faced with pressure and chaos in the pocket, he's typically able to get off throws while keeping his eyes downfield. A prime example of this, of course, was the spectacular 70-yard touchdown pass to Alec Pierce that many consider to be one of the best throws they have ever seen. It's moments like these that really show off the potential of Anthony Richardson and just the overall potential of this Colts offense. However, Anthony Richardson's accuracy has been a major concern so far. He struggles with basic passes that an NFL quarterback, any NFL quarterback, should be able to make pretty routinely. This inconsistency can and does stall out drives and hinder the offense's overall rhythm. One thing I would actually like to see more is his rushing ability used as an asset when the play breaks down. You look at rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels for the Commanders, who has excelled by taking off when guys aren't open or when pressure gets home. I think Anthony Richardson could find similar success. Now, whether that's Richardson or Steichen making that call, I think is somewhat hard to say, but I don't see why it would hurt to rely on his legs a little bit more while he continues to develop as a passer. Additionally, of course, he's dealing with an injury now, and that raises more concerns about his immediate future. But it doesn't seem to be too serious, and there's hope that he will return to full strength relatively soon. So despite all of these concerns, I do think there's hope for Richardson. His pre-throw IQ is exceptional. His general physical talent is off the charts. However, until he improves his accuracy, he will probably continue to hold back this offense to some degree. And when I look at the rest of this offense, Jonathan Taylor's been great, Michael Pittman's been really good, Alec Pierce has been good, and rookie A.D. Mitchell, he's been really good. He's been getting open consistently. That's what you love to see from rookie wide receivers. I think in a world where Anthony Richardson is hitting his open throws, this offense has the potential to be one of the best in the NFL. But until then, while he deals with his injury, Joe Flacco is going to be stepping in. And I think this offense could see some consistency in the passing game, but I do worry that it has a negative impact on the run game with Flacco, and since you won't have to respect him as a runner the same way you would Richardson. Now, I want to shift gears to the defense because I think there's a lot to be concerned about. They have given up an alarming 399.8, almost 400 yards of offense per game. That is the most in the NFL. While this statistic is concerning, I don't think this is the worst defense in the NFL. I think there's a lot going on that we can kind of dig into here, starting with the defensive line. I think given my preseason hype and expectations for this unit, it has been a massive disappointment, and with injuries to key players like Buckner and Lewis and Kwity Paye, it's hard to imagine that it gets better in the immediate. And they have had moments of success because they have good pass rushers that have been able to generate quick pressures, especially their rookie Laiatu Latu. And of course, with Grover Stewart on the interior, you know that he's going to be able to disrupt things in the run game, which he has so far this year. But they just aren't playing at the consistency that I would expect from one of the best defensive lines in football, which is what I was hoping that they would be. Their win rates against both the run and pass are down from where they were a year ago, same with pressures and sacks, but I don't think they are solely at fault. Obviously, they've been dealing with injuries, and a large part of why I love this defensive line was how much depth it had, and I think when it gets healthy, it will excel. But in their current state, they need other areas of this defense to step up, and so far they haven't, especially at linebacker, which continues to be my biggest concern for this defense. These linebackers can't shoot gaps, they can't shed blocks, they can't pursue the football. It has truly been a disaster at the second level of this Colts defense. If you've ever watched the Browns defense, especially Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, you will see a player that looks like he's shot out of a cannon on every single play. He anticipates and he flies to the football, and the Colts just don't have a player on defense that plays like that. I think this was particularly evident against the Houston Texans, where offensive linemen were consistently able to reach the second level of the defense with basically no resistance. This not only nullifies any effectiveness that the defensive line has, but it also compounds any issues that the defense has. This is why this defense is giving up the second most rushing yards in the NFL. This is why teams want to run the ball so much on them. If the linebackers can't flow downhill and make tackles, it's going to make everyone else's job harder. For the secondary, I'm willing to give them a little bit of leeway because I know they've also dealt with their own set of injuries. However, even they have their own share of problems. I've noticed plays where the defensive line is able to get pressure off the edge quickly, and the opposing quarterback is just able to get the ball out because his receiver was able to win his route much quicker than he honestly should have. If the pass rush wasn't ever getting home and you were asking your DBs to cover forever, I would understand, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So, I know I just went on a pretty long negative rant about Richardson and the Colts defense, but despite the struggles that they've had, they're still 2-2. They're 500. They're still second in this division. And I think their upcoming schedule against Jacksonville, Tennessee, Miami, and Houston again is honestly pretty favorable. I genuinely think they could go 3-1 in that stretch. Now, at the start of the season, I thought the Colts would win the division. And while that is starting to look much less likely, I still think I maintain a pretty positive outlook on this team. The potential of this offense is still very high if Richardson can find any level of consistency when he comes back, and the defense can at least stabilize. I feel like this Colts team could, at the very least, contend for a playoff spot. But the next 4 games are critical, both in determining the trajectory of this team moving forward, as well as my own update for them at the halfway point of the season. Until then, though, thank you all so much for tuning in. It's been an absolute blast, and I will catch you on the flippity flop.